If you're thinking about moving to Austin, you're probably already looking at those gorgeous pictures online of homes. But if you choose one of these homes that's in the wrong part of town for your lifestyle, you may end up putting it back on the market in just a year's time and losing money. Today, I'm going to show you what parts of Austin are great to live in and some of those that you may want to avoid. Hi, I'm Nicole Cooper, UT Golf alum and real estate pro, and I've been helping people buy and sell in the Austin area for over 15 years. And there's one question I get over and over: where should I move so I don't regret it later? So let's break this down the right way. We'll get to the best neighborhoods, but first, you need to understand the city's structure. I'm going to show you in the map. So Austin can be broken up into 4 major lifestyle rings, if you will. The first one will be downtown Austin, between I-35 and Mopac here. We zoom out a little bit, this second ring will be around this circle we see here, the 360 to 71 out to 183. Then the next ring, the ring number 3, will be just outside that circle. We're talking Barton Creek, Great Hills, Manchac, out here to the east, inside the toll though. And then our fourth and final ring will be out towards the suburbs. We're gonna catch Cedar Park, we're gonna catch Lakeway, we catch Buda, Elroy, a little bit out to the east. So those are the major rings that break up Austin and how you can think about the city. Everything that is closer to downtown is more expensive. We're one of those cities where people want to live downtown or as close to downtown as possible because there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on down there. Theaters, bars, restaurants, music, UT football, lots of cool stuff. So the closer you are to the center of Austin, the more expensive real estate is, by and large. Once you understand which ring of the city that you want to live in, then making your choice gets a whole lot easier. But the rings only matter if you know the city's biggest problem. Check it out. This is a map here of all the road construction projects in Austin. This road right here is I-35, and we're going to go into detail about that in just a sec. But basically, once upon a time, the city council decided that if they didn't build it, people wouldn't move here. Well, we didn't build it, and people still moved here. In fact, in the last decade, Austin gained more residents except cities like New York, Houston, and Fort Worth. So we've been growing at a rapid pace, but not building out the infrastructure and not building out the roads. So we are in a deficit. In fact, until 2030, it's expected to have a 28% population growth, even on top of where we're already behind. And currently we're ranked 15th in the United States for the worst traffic. And now everything's under construction. The I-35 plan, it's not expected to finish until 2033. We've got Mopac, our big north and loop. Let me show you here on the map here. These are our major north and south arteries. We've got Mopac right here, construction on that one. I-35 construction just beginning and heading until 2033. And then over here on 360, they're expanding that one as well. Currently that has stoplights all the way down it, and they're making it into a highway where it will not have stoplights. So the majority of our north and south arteries are under construction or will be under construction. Look at what the intention is for I-35. They're building it bigger, and they're going to build parks on top of the overpasses. So it's going to be super cool if they ever get to the end of it. They're gonna have crosswalks over the lake that have little covers on them for the rain and things, but this is, see this green grass back here? This is what the intention is, to have more connection between East Austin and West Austin, and within that, they're gonna put parks on the top of the roadway, so they have to tunnel down to make more roads going underneath. It's a huge project and more than 8 years out into completion. And the funding, who knows where they're gonna get all the funding. It's constantly being voted on, so I'm sure we're gonna see quite a few iterations of this I-35 exchange before it's all said and done. So you may think, no problem, I won't use a car, I'll just use public transit. Well, look at this map here. This is our train. This is the only one we have. And while if you live in Leander or Cedar Park, it's a great option to get you to downtown Austin, but you'll notice it doesn't go in a circle, it doesn't go east, it doesn't go west, it just goes one way into town and one way back out of town. And also notice it does not go to the airport. So we've had many discussions about where the next rail should go and should it go to the airport. I say yes, but right now this is all we have. We do have a bus system. You know, the bus is the bus. If you've been in any city, it's not the most fast way to get somewhere. We just don't have very good public transportation here in Austin. And while these roads are under construction, making things better, it's going to be tough when you live near one of them. And that leads me to my first area to avoid for the next little while, and that's this buffer zone along I-35. From down here at 71 all the way up to the 183 corridor. That's where they're going to be doing construction. So your Travis Heights, your Hyde Park, your Cherrywood neighborhoods, they are going to feel the pain of this construction, and for the short time being, I would avoid those neighborhoods. Now, if you're looking for a future play, maybe some investment property rented out during all this construction, that's a good idea because no one's going to want to live there for their primary residence, probably for the most part for the next 8 years. But if you can get something there and rent it out until the construction is complete, it is going to create an intense demand for that area, especially if they do create all these parks on top of the highway like they're planning to. It's going to be amazing. So the buffer zones along the I-35 corridor, those are a future play, not a today play. Now I'll show you the best alternative to these neighborhoods in a minute. So our second major problem in Austin are school district boundaries. They're constantly changing because the city is growing and we have funding deficits. They've been closing elementary schools, they've been closing middle schools and consolidating them in one area because we don't have enough, the city of Austin doesn't have enough money to fund them. So now you may have moved into a place to get into a certain school district and now you're changed. So there are a few ways to protect yourself against this. First of all, you want to download the current attendance maps directly from the district. Never trust an old MLS listing. You can also call the school to confirm if they know anything that's coming up in the future, any buzz, any talk about school closure or school boundaries changing geographically. And one tip is if a school zone is a non-negotiable, you can write it into the contract so that up until the minute you close on that house, if anything changes and that property were to be moved out of that school zone that you had to have, or you could get out of that contract with no penalty. And lastly, and if school zones are a necessity for you, then just choose something in the middle of the geographical area. Try to avoid those areas along the edges of the boundary, and that should keep you safe for the near future. All right, now that we've discussed the potential pitfalls, let's discuss the best value plays in Austin. My first value play is on the east side. That's the 78721 zip code. And this is just a general area. It doesn't have to be inside the zip code, but you're going to get some better value for your money. In fact, the median sale price there is $465,000, and that puts it about $332 a square foot. Now, the good part about living there, it's very easy to get into town. There are lots of cool, kind of that vibe on the east side, and there are many restaurants and entertainment areas you can get to very, very easily from this part of town. Now, what's not so cool, the cons of living in this area is that you're going to have some older infrastructure there, and you are also going to have some foundation issues there. And the foundation issues are simply because there's clay soil, and that expands and contracts when we have our severe dry weather moments and then our severe wet weather moments. So it wreaks havoc on the foundations on the east side. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, if you do have kiddos and you need them to be in a good school, the schools get a bit more lower grades in this part of town than on the west side of town or even in central Austin. I'll show you some examples. According to texasschools.gov, the high school on the east side in the 78721 is 702 Eastside Early College gets a D, so not super great. There are two main high schools on the east side of town. We've got Eastside Early College and LASA, and you can see here they are completely opposite. One gets a D and one gets an A. So there are options on the east side for better high schools, but for the most part, if you have kiddos, you're probably not going to move over to the east side. There are some private schools, there are some other ways to get your children educated over there where it's not rated a D, but by and large, the schools are not why people move to the east side. it's a value play for someone that maybe doesn't have kiddos. But East Austin does give you that cool Austin vibe without the downtown price tag. The next value play in Austin is up north, near the Domain and between the Mopac and I-35 corridor here. This is the Domain area. We can zoom in a little bit. You're going to have tons of well, I mean, it's a mall, so you're going to have all the shopping you need, all the restaurants that you need. Here, the median sale price is a bit lower at $430,000, putting it $265 a square foot. So even more affordable than the east side. The pros for this area is that it's walkable if you're close enough to the Domain. You've got Q2 soccer stadium, and most of our tech jobs are up here on the north side of town. This 183 corridor has a lot of the tech companies, both large and small, including Apple, National Instruments, Samsung, things like that. And Dell would be just further to the north. But that's a great kind of pocket if you want to have the combination of something to walk to like the Domain and be close to all the tech style jobs in Austin. The cons is it can get pretty busy and crowded, noisy. You know, it's a busy part of town, and there are some kind of traffic issues getting in and out of there if you're looking to get to the main thoroughfares in town. So you got to keep that in mind if you're in the Domain. Then again, if you're in the Domain, you may not have to leave very often because everything you need is right there. So the Domain would be great for Meta, Indeed, Amazon, and VRBO employees, and then all the little ancillary software companies that bounce off of these bigger major companies. The next value play for the city of in Austin is going to be the 78745 zip code. It's just south of Highway 290 down here. You may hear people talking about the 04 in Austin, and that's this zip code here, 78704, and that's one of the most sought after neighborhoods in town because of its walkability, proximity to Zilker Park and things like that. And this one just below it is almost the next best thing. Well, it is the next best thing. So this 78745, the median sale price here is $475,000, putting it at $325 a square foot. Now, this one's also easy to zip up into town, and you have access to everything that's in the 04. And in the 04, you have SoCo Shopping District, you have the Lamar Entertainment District, you have the First Street area, lots of music venues. And then on the south side of the zip code we're talking about in the 4-5, you're starting to get more music venues down here. The Little Darlin', you go further south, you've got food truck, like huge food truck parks and things like that. So this one is still close enough to town, but you get a little bit less expensive home by going south of that major roadway at 290. The cons for this area, the homes are a bit older, so you're going to find, some remodeled homes, you're going to find some original homes, and everything kind of in between. So it's hard to have kind of a style. It's very much like hit or miss as to what kind of house you're going to get. You might see an old ranch style single story. They may have done a tear down and there's a new 2-story. They may have an AB unit, which is one bigger house in the front, smaller house in the back. So it's a big hodgepodge of all different kinds of homes in that area. Another con for the area is prices are on the rise, and that's because it's still that close to town. I suppose we could say that for all three of these areas we've just talked about, because as Austin grows, it just expands outward, and as Austin grows, things get more expensive. But these are my 3 best value plays for today in the Austin city area. Before we get to the luxury style suburbs, I'm gonna give you my 2 best price for the lifestyle suburbs. And the first one is in Bastrop. It's about 30 miles to the east of Austin. It has that small town vibe still, but this is where a lot of the people that are employed by Elon Musk are choosing to live, all throughout this area in here, because Tesla is out here on the east side of town, and SpaceX and all those things are coming in that particular area of town. So right now, the median sale price in Bastrop is only $365,500 at $200 a square foot. And for this area, those are good prices. You're gonna find a bit more space out there, a bit more kind of country feel, nature. There are lots of beautiful parks in this part of town. Lost Pines Golf Club out at the Hyatt, and the Colorado River runs through the middle of town. So it's a very cute town, very quaint, and still small. I think this will change drastically as Elon Musk grows his SpaceX, Tesla industries on the east side of Austin. The major cons for Bastrop are that one, if you have to come into town or come partially into town, even to Tesla, that road is very busy. It's the only one in and out at that southeast corner of town, so it can get very backed up and there are stoplights on it. Next, there's very little nightlife in Bastrop. It's too small for that, so if you need to get into the nightlife or theater, things like that, you'll be coming all the way back into Austin. Otherwise, a cute little town, and you may like it if you need things a little bit more quiet. Our next best price for lifestyle combination is up here in Pflugerville. Just north of the city, about 17 miles. You got to go up that highway I-35 or out to the toll. But it's a good value play too. Coming in median price at $410,000, $191 a square foot. So even cheaper per square foot than Bastrop. And in Pflugerville, you're going to have kind of a mix of styles of homes, but it's going to be quite a bit more quiet than Austin, but it's going to have more activity than your Bastrop per se, because you're just a little bit closer to the Austin kind of buzz. In Pflugerville, it has a cute little downtown, quiet neighborhoods, and they have Typhoon, Texas. So in the summer, you can head out there and take the kiddos and get into this big, huge water park right in the middle of the city. Some of the cons of Pflugerville, much like East Austin, the cons are the foundation with that clay soil moving around. And then, it's just growing, so infrastructure isn't quite there yet. And coming into town, most of the time you're using that highway I-35, and nobody wants to do that. So the traffic patterns can be a challenge if you have to leave Pflugerville to come south. Okay. That's where you get the best value in Austin. But if your budget is bigger and lifestyle matters more than price, then these next areas are going to suit you just right. So let's jump into our luxury ring. First things first, as I've mentioned before, anything closer to downtown Austin is more expensive. So you can just draw a circle around this area and you're going to have the most expensive parts of the central Austin. So we're talking Terrytown, Hyde Park, Bolden Creek, Zilker, Old West Austin, Deep Eddy, Pemberton Heights, all of those beautiful neighborhoods. So that's a given. It's close to downtown. But the next one over here is our Westlake Hills and Rollingwood. Westlake Hills and Rollingwood, our median sold price here is $1,900,000, putting it at $565 per square foot. Why is this area so expensive? Well, first of all, let's look at its location. Right here in Austin on the southwest corner of town, and also on the river, the town lake. In addition, best school district around. It's in the Eanes ISD. Let's have a look here on texasschools.gov. In Eanes ISD, the entire independent school district gets an A, 94 out of 100. In addition, the whole total enrollment is under 7,600 kids. That is a fraction of the kids that are in the Austin ISD. I'm going to show you in just a sec. But look at this also, 12.3 students per teacher. People scratch and claw to get into this Eanes Independent School District system so they don't have to send their kids to private school. And just for comparison, here's the Austin ISD, 79 out of 100, total enrollment over 72,000 kids. So you can see there's quite a contrast between Eanes ISD and Austin ISD, and that is one of the main reasons that people will fight to get into this school district in this part of town over here in Westlake. So in addition to the top schools and being close to town, it's on the west side of town where you're going to have those rolling hill country views and some views of the lake and or the city. The cons of this area, well, it's super pricey, and everything that goes along with those house prices follows suit. So if you want a landscaper, they charge you more. If you want a plumber, they charge you more just because of what part of town you're living in. And it's not very walkable at all, very spread out. So you will need a car. Now, granted, you need a car in most places in Austin, but this one is especially lacking in its walkability because it is in the hill country, rolling terrain, houses are farther apart, so more privacy, less walkable. So that's our in-town luxury play. Now I'm going to show you two suburbs you don't want to miss. The first one is Lakeway, one of my favorite suburbs because it is full of golf. You have many golf courses out there. It's anchored by the Hills Country Club that has the Hills, Flint Rock Falls, Live Oak, and Yopon. Then you have Falcon Head, which is a semi-private, and you have Spanish Oaks. And soon you're going to have Travis Club. It should be open, I think, spring of 2026. So it is a golf jackpot in Lakeway. In addition, you have Lake Travis, 60 65 miles of lake, so if you're a boater and a golfer, this is going to be your slice of heaven. Let's talk about pricing. Median sale price in Lakeway, $765,000, and that puts it at $282 a square foot. You will find a large range of homes in Lakeway because there's homes out there that were built in the 70s, and there are homes that are still being built as new construction in Rough Hollow and Belvedere and all out 71. So it runs the gamut. You're going to have some multi-million-dollar homes. If you have that lake view or on one of those golf courses, prices are going way up. If you have one of those older homes in original Lakeway, well, you can still find something for $500,000. So it just depends what you're looking for, but in Lakeway, I guarantee you'll be able to find something that you want if you want something a little bit quieter than Austin. It's only about 30 miles out towards the west. You can still get to the airport within 45 minutes or so, if it's no traffic, of course, and it is a lot quieter than Austin, yet still has all the shopping, restaurants, and anything that you need. You don't have to go into town. Now let's talk about the schools out there. Also a wonderful place for the school system. Here we're back to texasschools.gov. Lake Travis ISD gets a 90 out of 100. Over 10,000 students, but still quite small for an entire independent school district system. The kids per teacher there are 16.4. Lake Travis is well known for their excellence in sports, academics, and music and arts. They run the gamut. There's a great school. People love to have their children in that school system. So overall, the pros for Lakeway: the golf, the lake, and the schools, and lots of choices of different styles of homes. The cons can be the commute time to Austin if you have to go into town regularly, if you need to go to the theater, those UT football games, and the airport if there's traffic. But keep in mind, you don't have to go anywhere outside of Lakeway if you're not coming into Austin for those major events. Our final luxury play is Dripping Springs. Dripping Springs is the gateway to the hill country. It is a beautiful small town. You're gonna find lots of cowboys out here, more so than in any of the other areas we've talked about today. Originally, people moved to this area to buy a little piece of land and maybe put a house on it, or maybe just put their horses on it. It is becoming a bigger and bigger town with a little downtown area, but in Dripping Springs, unlike the other suburbs in town, they have the trifecta. They have distilleries, wineries, and breweries. So if you're into a little bit of partying or want to be outside, there are plenty of these types of things to choose from. We have Solero Estate Winery, as you can see here, and many of the wineries, distilleries, and breweries will have big warehouse style, industrial style buildings, and you can go inside and outside. That's what they're really known for. I'll show you one right here. So this is the entry to Fall Creek Vineyard. Once you go in, you can either go inside or inside here, and you can have this beautiful little fireplace situation, or you can stay outside and walk the grounds, and there's plenty of covered area under the tree to rest and relax. Dripping Springs is also known as the wedding capital of Texas because it has views for days. If you're heading out to Dripping Springs, you're likely that outdoorsy type. You want to be near those big panoramic views, and let's not forget about the schools. Schools are great in Dripping Springs as well. They get an 89 out of 100, another small independent school district system at 8,696 students, puts it about 15 students per teacher. So overall, Dripping Springs are hill country views, the schools, and it's just absolutely beautiful out there. The cons are, first of all, there's no golf course out there. But the second con, and probably the most important con, is if you have to come into Austin, there's really only this one way in and one way out on 290. And guess what? It's under construction. So it's kind of a pain in the neck if you have to come into town. You can take these back roads this way, and I do that from time to time just to avoid the traffic over here on 290. But once you get into Dripping Springs, there's no traffic. It's just a small town. So just keep that in mind. I guess that's kind of a general theme of the day is traffic. We have outgrown our roads pretty much all throughout Central Texas, and now we're trying drastically to catch up, and it's just really hard to do. A lot of our roads are under construction, and they will remain that way for a while. So the moral of the story is, once you know where you're going to be active in town, whether it be for a school, a job, or your hobby, you want to live near there. You don't want to have to traverse across town. You don't want to have to go from the northeast corner to the southwest corner. It's just not fun. It can get bottlenecked, stopped, and just make you grumpy. So first of all, figure out what you like to do, what your lifestyle is drawn to, and then we find you the best house in that area. Because even if you choose the right house, it's the wrong area, won't be the right house for long. Let us help you. So whenever you're ready for that personal guidance, just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, schedule a Zoom, because we're always available to help you find the perfect home that matches your lifestyle. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others. I can't wait to see you around town.